So I got back into playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, and there were some items I was really interested in getting. Some of them were such as an ABD for your bells and an outdoor shed for your storage. But I was wondering, how do I get these items? Soon I found out that I needed to pay off my very last loan. So in this video, I'm going to show you some really cool discoveries and tips and tricks on how to get bells pretty quickly to pay off that very last loan that is a nightmare to all of us. I'm not doing this video by myself. I got TJ in the building, also sharing some of his own discoveries and what things worked for him, which of course are going to be non-traditional, but hey, they work. So let's start off one of the things that worked off for me. So one of the things that I discovered quickly that makes the most bells out of all the activities you can do on your island is diving, which is one of my favorite activities to do, period. I found out quickly as I was going to Nook Cranny and selling the stuff I had that some things are worth more than others. But in order to make this work and make the most profit out of it, one of the first things you need to do is activate what we call the Blue Bell Ordinance. Now, the Blue Bell Ordinance does have a catch. It does mean that the items that are inside Nook Cranny will cost more if you're trying to purchase anything to add to your catalog. But the same goes the other way. If you're going to sell some items, you're gonna have some extra profit out of it. So some of the things that I actually sold that are worth a lot of money is, let's start off with the spider crab. I was blown away when this went for 14,400 bells. Now, the way I did this is that I sold all of the items individually. That way I can create a note and a list of how much each item goes separately instead of just grouping everything and selling it all at once. Following up is the red king crab, which seems to be a thing. Crabs go for a lot in this game somehow, because this one goes for 9,600 bells, which is pretty good. Umbrella octopus, that goes for 7,200. Once again, you have another crab, it's called the snow crab. That one goes for 7,200. But get this, if you get a pearl goes for 12,000 bells. Yikes, it goes for a lot. So I definitely would recommend saving those pearls and selling them. Just group them all together. You're gonna make a bunch of bells. And then there's some other things like the Dungeness crab that goes for 2,280 bells. You got your pearl oyster that is going for 3,360 bells, and then your mantris shrimp that goes for 3,000 bells. Out of all the activities you can do on the island, diving is definitely one of them. Let's check out some of the other activities that you can do as well.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TJ, and today we're gonna learn how to make some money. All right, so let me show y'all some things, all right? First thing you wanna do is, how many Nook points do you got right now? You got a lot of Nook points? Well, the first thing that I like to do is, I like to go to the community center and trade in those Nook points for some bell vouchers, which are 3,000 bells a piece. If you got enough Nook points stored up, you can make a pretty decent penny racking up on those bell vouchers. So that is my first secret. My second secret is a little more intense. All right, come in here. Come in a little closer. We're gonna travel through time. All All right, now this trick is a little more complicated, so we're gonna have to break it down into steps, okay? Step one, you're gonna wanna set up your island for this. One thing you're definitely gonna want for sure is a farm. So buy as many of any crop as you can, preferably something that you have recipes for, and you're gonna wanna set up as much land as possible. Set up your farm, get everything growing, get it cracking and popping so we can get to this money, okay? Second thing is, make sure you got all the best tools that you could possibly get, because we're gonna be doing a lot of work, but when it's time for the big payoff, it's definitely going to pay off. Once you have all of that set up, then we time travel. So, here's what we do. You go into your system settings, go into your date and time, and you turn back the year. Go back as far back as you possibly can in the year. Once you load up the game, you'll be in the past. Once you do that, you can harvest your crops, make some recipes out of them, sell them, do some fishing, do whatever you can to rack up as many bells as you can for that day. And you trade them all in and sell them, and you get your bells. Then you go back into your system settings and you crank it up by 1 year. And then you rinse and repeat. And doing this, I was able to pay off my $2.5 million bell loan to Tom Nook. All it took was a little bit of time travel.
Your best friend is going to be your kitchen, because not only can you grow crops, but you can make delicious dishes, not only to supplement for energy, but you can sell them and make a profit out of them. So making dishes is going to be your best friend. And here I grouped together several dishes that are worthwhile. So let's talk about it real quickly. I found out pretty quickly that a pumpkin bagel goes for a lot. Pumpkin bagel goes for 4,000 bells. So if you make several of these and sell them in a group, it is worth your time. The veggie crepe or crepe, I don't know how you say it, guys. Veggie crepe, well, you know what? We're gonna stick with that one. It goes for 2,000 bells. Gnocchi also goes for 2,000 bells, so that's pretty good. I also learned pretty quickly that fish dish goes for a lot. There's one dish called the barred knife jaw carpaccio. This one goes for 7,200 bells. I know, quite a bit. But if you also get a red snapper, there's a recipe for a red snapper dish, and it's called pesce all'acqua pasta, and that one goes for 4,968 bells. I know, it's insane. So all these dishes that involve fish are probably going to be your best friend. So go out there, go fishing, and then come back and turn them into dishes and sell them at Nook Cranny. Believe me, it's gonna be worth your time.
Another trick that I like to do is, if you have the Animal Crossing DLC, Happy Home Paradise, you can eventually, if you get to a certain level in the DLC, they have a special ATM machine that you can use to convert your pokies into bells. And this is also part of the time travel process I talked about earlier, because there's a limit to how many pokies you can turn into bells a day. So each time you turn back the clock, you should go back to Happy Home Paradise and trade in some more pokies for bells. And then you can even rack up even more money. Next we got another trick that I like to use. It's called growing money, okay? We're literally gonna grow some money. You ever see those little glowing spots on your island and you dig it up and there's some money in there and you just take the money and you're happy? Well, there's something that you should be doing that you may not know about. If you have some money on you at the time, preferably about 10,000 bells, you can bury that 10,000 bells back into the hole and it will grow into a money tree that will give you 30,000 bells. That's right, you could turn your 10,000 bells into 30,000 bells and growing money on trees. And you can do this as many times as you want to, so you can just keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying your money. That's how you truly get to the money like Tom Nook.
All right, so for fishing, I learned quite a bit. I gathered some tips from the Animal Crossing New Horizons community, but I also made some discoveries, once again, by myself as I sold each item individually. Now, quick tip I have, if you happen to have CJ on your island, you definitely want to save all of your fish for when CJ comes. Because besides your bluebell ordinance, I personally did not know that, CJ gives you 50% more for your fish. So instead of selling it at Nook Cranny whenever CJ comes over, you might want to sell it directly to him. But yeah, take advantage of CJ being on your island. It's worthwhile. He pays 50% more for your fish, and you definitely want to take advantage of that. A part of the fish that I just mentioned that goes for a ton of bells, You also want to maybe grab your hands on a sturgeon. You can get this at the mouth of the river. I did it at around evening to nighttime. That's when I was lucky enough to be able to get my hands on a sturgeon. It's the only place where it shows up. The sturgeon goes for 12,000 bells. So definitely take advantage of fishing, and especially if you got CJ visiting your island. Now, as you all know, Daisy Mae shows up every Sunday to sell you turnips until at around noon. And if done right, you can make quite a bit of bells. So for this example, I decided to make a risky investment. Daisy Mae was selling the turnips for 105 bells each, so I got 5 stashes of 10 turnips. And I found out about this really cool website, thanks to the Animal Crossing New Horizons community, which is a turnip calculator. Now, if you input some data that it needs, it will generate a graph and it'll show you when is the best day you can go and sell your turnips. You have to put in the price that you paid for and also the prices that it's going for, both AM and PM. I completely was unaware of this. I did not know that turnip prices change throughout the day. So just because turnip prices are a little low during the morning doesn't mean it cannot get better in the afternoon. So you definitely want to check it out several times during the day and input it in this calculator. But another cool tip is if you don't want to do it on your island and you've got friends who you can rely on, you can definitely stay in touch with them, see how much the turnip prices are going on their island, and if you strike a good deal, fly over there and sell your turnips instead. And that's exactly what I did. Somebody in one of the groups that I'm involved in posted a picture of turnip prices on her island. They were going for 519 bells, which is a lot. So I flew over there immediately and sold all of my turnips. And just to give you an example of how much I made over 259,900 bells for 5 stashes. So the way you find out about hot items is usually by visiting your Nook Cranny. It will reveal to you the hot items that are going for throughout that day. And usually that means that if you craft any of these items and sell them to Timmy and Tommy, they'll give you twice the amount for what it usually goes for. So for example, one of the best items that I crafted was an iron DIY workbench. And when I sold it as a hot item, Timmy and Tommy gave me over 20,448 bells for just one workbench, which is not bad at all. But I want to give a huge thanks to this channel that I'm posting right here in this video, because he had posted a video of several exploits in order to make quick bells, a quick buck. And one of these items was the donation box. Now, if you're lucky enough like I was and happened to get it as a hot item, you're in it for a treat. It's a lot of work, but let me tell you right now, it is worth it. So basically you craft a donation box and you deposit bells in it. You can deposit, I think, a max of 99,000 bells. It's a little tedious because Nintendo only lets you deposit 1,000 bells at a time. So you're gonna have to smash the A button for quite a bit. But after you successfully deposit the max amount of bells in one donation box, you can take the box, without withdrawing the bells, of course, to your Nook cranny and sell it to Timmy and Tommy. And let me tell you, if you happen to have it as a hot item, I sold one for 200,304 bells. Now that is a lot of bells, but the funny part of it is if you're really determined in paying your loan like I was, then what you can do is just craft more donation boxes and basically flip it. The money you sold, put it in the other donation box, sell it, and continue the pattern until you get tired of smashing that A button, you know? But you can make a quick buck or two to sell and pay your loan. And thanks to all these activities and all these self-discoveries I've made, I was able to successfully pay my very last loan. Special announcement, if you're actively playing, you might want to tune in October 31st at 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be hosting an Animal Crossing New Horizons Spookathon event at 5 p.m. Central Time, both on Twitch and on YouTube/ZapCristal. For more details and information, just click on my social media handles and links. They're in the video description, so you can find out what are the rules and how you can get in and participate and be a part of this grand event. And of course, trick or treat at my island. As always, I want to remind you guys to stay rad, stay positive with each other, and of course, game on.